Hello, YouTube. All right, so I'm basically going to show you how to make an awesome tone. So Line 6 Pod HD Pro, the whole HD series in general, actually, has received very mixed reviews, especially from the whole, AxeFX community, Kemper community, whatever. I don't know why we can't all just get along. Anyway, what I'm doing is I've basically got my pod going into my FireStudio mobile by PreSonus. I've got a track armed in Logic, as you can see here. Boom. That's the microphone, for anyone who cares or was wondering. Yep. HD edit. There we go. And we're back. So, how to get an awesome tone, right? A lot of people think that this unit, they might buy one of these units and think, oh man, this is exactly what I'm wanting, and then get it, and then they're really disappointed. I'm going to show you how to, not be disappointed. What you're going to hear is the tone exactly as it is, no processing in Logic, because, as you can see, my channel EQ and my multipressor are disabled, or bypassed, if you want to get technical. Anyway, so, first things first, turn the amp on. Drive, set it to 50, bass 80, mid 60, treble 85, we're being specific. Presence at 60, channel volume at 65, and early reflections down to 0. The early reflections basically kind of simulate it being mic'd up in a room, if you understand that. If you don't, read a book, that's something. Anyway, microphone choice, SM57 off-axis. Got a whole load you can choose from. Well, you got 8 you can choose from. I chose the 57 because it's nice and tight. Cabinet model, 4x12, double XL, vintage 30s. Kind of simulates. It sounds very similar to like an orange cabinet. I have an Engel and an orange cabinet. It's not surprising that I'm recreating an Engel in something that sounds like an orange cabinet. Convenience, you know it. So, amp parameters. Master is at 35. Sag is at 0. Hum is at 50. Bias is also at 0. And so is the Bias X. Master's originally at 50, but rolling it back just kind of makes it less muddy and less goofy sounding, which is why the channel volume's quite high. And then the cab parameters, which improved the tone significantly on the Pod HD series, because they came out, it was about a year ago they came out, I think it was. Anyway, low cut, if you want low cut, I'll show you what low cut does. I don't think anyone really wants to use low cut for an entire song, because that would be crazy. Res level, 85. 95, should I say. Thump is at 100. And decay is at 85. There we go. These cabinet parameters, they seriously make or break the tone. I've noticed that when these are like at 50, because they kind of come, these three kind of come standard at 50. The tone's alright, but fiddling with these kind of basically makes the tone sound fuller and basically gives it more balls, Anywho, so the tone as it is, on its own, that's what it sounds like. It's alright, on its own, starting like that, that's a pretty decent sound. I quite enjoy it, but I want it to be even better. So, we're going to enhance it with some effects. Anyway, first things first, noise gate. In fact, I'll show you. My volume is off. Can you hear that hum and buzz? I can hear it. You should be able to too. Turn noise gate on. Boom. Goes away. That is awesome. It's also nice and tight as well. Stop and start. Stoppy starty. Next up is a compressor. There are various different types of compressors to choose from. I chose the red comp because I just feel like it suits my needs the best. Here's how it sounds. I'll do it without, and then I'll bring it in so you can hear how it sounds. So you can hear how it kind of makes the sustain, the whole tone, like, just sounds bigger and better. Now, distortion pedal. There are quite a lot to choose from. I haven't delved into all of them, but I know the Screamer's a safe bet. because a lot of people have been using that and been reading it on forums. So that's what I chose. Drive's at 0, output is at 100, meaning I get the full tonal capabilities of the pedal, adding some pre-EQ to my actual amp. Bass is at 40, tone is at 66, and the treble is at 75. Here's how it sounds before and after. Much better. Now that's the kind of metal that we know. Anyway, next in the signal chain, another noise gate. Same decaying threshold as the first one. I found seems quite reasonable. 55 is a nice threshold for both of those situations as well. So here's how it is without. Now do you hear that noise? That has been the bane of my existence, and I finally managed to EQ that out using a noise gate and a graphic EQ. So noise gate. Nice and tight. So graphic EQ. Don't mess with the 80, the 220, or the 440. Just mess with the 1.1 and the 2.2 kilohertz. Take 1.1 down by 4 and take 2.2 down by 8, and it basically gets rid of some annoying high harsh frequencies. It's only a slight difference, but it makes, makes a whole load of difference when you're recording and making tunes or whatever. And then that's everything, but I've also got some reverb and delay, which just, if I want to add something nice and melodic. Sounds nice. Soaked in reverb. Anywho, so that is how I make my tone. If you want to add another amp block in, you've got a spare one there. So that's the effects. That's all the amps. The mixer. I like to pan it to the center because I've only got one amp going. I'm not using dual amps or dual cabs or anything like that. Because to be honest, the DSP usage would be off the charts and it wouldn't work. That is the one limitation. The DSP units, there are more in the other amp simulators. But I think for a tone like this, I think that is like a pretty slamming tone, and it's got a lot of balls to it. And I think it actually sounds very similar to a valve amp, which a lot of people have disliked about the pod units. Oh man, it doesn't sound like a vintage tube amp or like a valve amp. Whatever, man. Just you gotta fiddle with these things in order to find it. You're not gonna get you can get a decent tone in 10 minutes, but not straight away. You've got to take a lot of time with these and mess around with them, because there are so many things to consider. I mean, until they included the cab parameters, the tones won't have sounded the way they do now. So, like I said, you've just got to mess around, take your time with it. With any of the units, Pod HD 300, 400, 500, the desktop bean, and the Pod HD Pro, which is obviously the one that I'm using. Pod HD Pro edit, yo. Anyway, make those the center, and that's nice. That's nice. I'll show you what it sounds like to the left and to the right. I just kind of prefer it in the middle. Controllers, you can also... Oh, no. What is going on the multi? Is it the graphic EQ? None. There we go. So, yeah. This is, I've got a Line 6 FPV Mark II, which basically I plug in through the Ethernet cable and it lets me control it floorboard. Not a whole lot to suggest there, so I'll just leave it there. Anyway, back into the Logic session. I'm going to post a link in the description to a tone to this project. It's basically just a nice rhythm tone, nice bit of chunky rhythm. It's got some channel EQ and some multi-pressing on it. I just felt like this got a nice tone out of it. Yeah, steal my stuff if you want. I'll show you what it sounds like with it and without it. So that's how it sounds. Yep. So there's basically going to be two parts to it. With the channel EQ and the multipressing, and then, you know, without the channel EQ and multipressing. Anyway, this has been fun. I have found this very awkward to do because I'm talking and I end up rambling and wobbling on about useless stuff. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the video and that you realize that, you know, the Line 6s, they're actually really good units, you know. There's been a lot of... They've got quite a reputation, you know. Line 6 probably... I don't know if they were the first, but they definitely innovated, like, digital modeling when they brought out, like, the Spider series, you know. Hey, you can have more than one amp sound on an amp. Wow, that's pretty cool. If there are any others, you know, we're all aware of Axe-FX and Kemper units, you know. So... these are more affordable, and I think they're also great value for money. I mean, the foot pedal, the HD 500 has the exact same software and tones as this one, and to combine it into a foot pedal for like 400 quid, 450 quid, that's awesome. Yeah, hit me up with any questions. If you want this tone, you can either make it yourself right now, or there'll be a link in the description to download it. Anyway, if you've got a Line 6 Pod HD, I hope you enjoy it and you make full use of the information that I've been giving you. Credit goes out to Chimp Spanner, because I wouldn't have figured out a lot of the stuff without that. Without the videos that he's put out. Johnny, I'll put a link to his channel. He's done some great Pod HD stuff. And then Tom from Last Days of Mankind. Yo, shout out. I'll put a link to the Facebook in my video. Check his band out. He uses the Pod HD. He's basically taught me pretty much everything I know. And now we just have like big massive gear offs. Yo man, check out my new tone. No man, you check out my new tone. Yep, I'm going to leave this video here before I get any more embarrassing. Comment, rate, subscribe. Bye.